central banks, ECB included, are driven by their mandate. They have the privilege of being independent institutions, accountable to, for myself, the European Parliament, to which I report back and am accountable to, and I go every 3 months to tell about our action and our tools and how we measure them and how we assess them. But we are also mandate driven, and mandate dictates that we do whatever is necessary and whatever is needed in order to actually deliver on our purpose, which will be a factor of circumstances. To give you an example, we are currently, and we've all said the same thing, going through exceptional circumstances. The global economy and the euro area, where I'm located and where I have to be active, is facing this unprecedented shock that we could not have imagined. Well, in that case, you clearly have to go beyond the normal, including the normal and conventional tools, to use things that are of an exceptional nature and that have to be designed, calibrated, and with the appropriate level of deviation and room to maneuver in order to actually deliver on that mandate, whether it is to avoid the tightening of financing condition, or whether it is to make sure that monetary policy is transmitted across all jurisdictions in the euro area. That's what we need to do. And we are actually doing it, and we will continue doing so, because that's what drives our action.
What's on top of your worry list as a central banker?
You know, it might surprise you, but I fear 2W. W number one is war, because I think that on the top of everything that we have at the moment, that would be just the most aggravating factor that we could face. And my second W is the second wave, if we ever had a second wave. When we look at analogies, you know, like the Spanish flu, unnecessarily called Spanish for that matter, the second wave was even worse than the first. So those are the two things that I have on my mind from, you know, a humanitarian, from as a person. Now, if I look at the economic consequences of all that, clearly, even without those W's that are my fears, I think that we have the most unprecedented economic crisis that we have seen in peacetime. I've said that before. And the damage that it is inflicting on our economies around the world, that Kristalina knows better than I do at this point in time, is really causing damages to potential output, to families, to jobs, to the capacity to bounce back. And we simply have no real good sense of how badly economies are affected. We're all proceeding on the basis of scenarios because we simply don't know. And it's all going to be a factor of how we get out of those lockdown measures, at which pace, at which sequence. And if we do, we don't know either how fast and how strong the recovery will be, because it will be a factor again of the measures that are taken at this point in time. So that's really the situation that we have. And in the face of that, we have to take all possible measures and policies to help with maintaining the situation, sustaining it for as long as necessary to weather this horrible shock, and help families, firms, and governments bounce back and move into a recovery phase. Clearly, you know, the nearly 4 million people affected around the world, a quarter of which are affected in the euro area, is on my mind all the time. And I also venture beyond those borders, because I think of all people in the developing world, which clearly is taking a big hit and will continue to take a big hit, despite the fact that health systems are not as solid as they are in advanced economies.